In this two-part video series, we're going to show you 5 things you can do to make your live stream look great. Hello, I'm Ballast. Welcome to my channel where I explore worship technology solutions. Today I'm here with David Henry from LearnStageLighting.com, and we're going to talk to you about some of the things that go into making your live stream look really good.
There are a lot of factors that go into making video looking really good. In fact, the things we're going to talk about today, not only do they make sense in a live streaming environment, but anywhere you go today, if you're lighting something, there's cameras, whether it's your cameras or somebody else's. And so we want to take both our lighting and our video and use them today, whether you're using a high quality camera or not, to make a great looking end product.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point that one way you can make your video look better is just buying a better camera. But there's a lot of things, no matter what camera you have, that you can do to improve the way the image quality looks. And the first thing we're going to talk about is your focus. You have to start with your focus being tack sharp, because when you run your video through your live streaming encoder's compression, it's going to soften the image a little bit. And so you want to make sure that your focus is starting out really sharp. And one of the ways that you want to do that is by not using autofocus. When you use autofocus, sometimes your camera can get confused by things that are in the image, and the subject that you want to be in focus may be just slightly soft, and that's going to end up not looking good.
In fact, one of the things that can do that, besides just having different things in the image, is lighting. If one section gets brighter for a second than another, the camera is generally going to try to focus on that section, which might not be what you want. So that's another great reason not to use autofocus.
So the way you get your camera in focus as sharp as you can is you want to zoom in all the way onto your subject and focus it, get it as sharp as you possibly can. And another thing that can help is to use an external monitor so you can see that focus better. The next thing is color accuracy. You want to make sure that your camera is set to accurately represent the colors in your environment. Have you ever seen a video where it looks a little too orange or a little too blue? That's because the white balance hasn't been set properly. Once the white balance is set properly, not only is white going to look right, but all the other colors are going to start looking correct. When you do your white balance, you want to use your wash light. And let me ask David, how do you set up your wash light so that it's going to maintain the color temperature across the stage?
Absolutely. The very best way to do that is to use a consistent type of light for your front light. So you want to use the same type of bulb or source for that entire front wash. That's the best case scenario. So if you're using conventional lights, use all conventional lights at the same brightness level if you possibly can, the same lensing. We'll touch on that a little bit more in a minute. If you can't get the exact same type of fixtures for your whole front wash, you can use gels to try to balance things out, but ultimately it's never going to look 100% right unless you use lights that have the same color temperature. And that way, as the camera moves across the stage, we're going to see the people and the objects always look the same color the whole way across.
So to set up your white balance, you want to have a white card that you set up in your wash light, and then you're going to zoom your camera all the way in so that that white card fills the screen. And then you're just going to hit the white balance button on your camera. You want to make sure you have proper exposure on the white card as well. You don't want it overexposed or underexposed because that will mess up your white balance setting. So David, how do you create an even wash light for your stage?
Absolutely. So like we just talked about, it's important to have that consistency across your stage, not only for your color temperature, but the brightness level overall as well. And so the way we generally do this is with what we call 3-point lighting. That's where our primary front light comes up 45 degrees and out 45 degrees from whoever the presenter is, okay? And so we start by having 2 lights in front of the person, again, up at that 45 and out to either side. And that's our primary front light. The back light, as long as it's back there and it hits the person, generally it's gonna be okay. We can get fancy about it, but we don't have to. But the front light is where it's key. And then as someone moves across the stage, you're not going to be able to cover the whole thing in 2 lights. So we create zones, or acting areas as it's often called in the theater, which are often generally 8 to 10 foot zones where 2 lights cover this zone, 2 lights cover that zone, that zone, that zone. And as you come to the edge of the light, you use a soft light source like a Fresnel, or you use some diffusion gel if you're using an ellipsoidal or something harder edged like that, so that the transition between 2 zones is smooth. Then, like we talked about with consistent color temperature, you want to use the same type of fixture for your whole front wash so that the transitions between the areas are consistent. So the same type of fixture from the same distance from the stage, from the same angles, makes things really consistent and good.
So those are 2 important factors, focus and color accuracy. And the next 3 things that we're going to talk about, you're going to find over on David's channel. If you haven't checked out his channel yet, you really should. I know I've learned things about stage lighting from his channel, so be sure and check it out.
Awesome, thank you for having me. Let's hop over to my channel over on Learn Stage Lighting, and we'll hit the last 3 things.